Mr Chair.
I'm calling the Minister, Honourable Minister, Maggie Berry.
Kia ora, Minister, Member, Mr Chair. Ngā mihi nui ki te wiki o te reo Māori, e te tina mahi, tēnā koe. It gives me great pleasure, Mr Chairman, to stand before this House this afternoon and to take a call on the appropriations. From the point of view of being the Minister of Conservation, it's very important to me that we understand the nature of the struggle that we're involved in. It is important that we have enough money to do what we need to do, and in order to make taxpayers' money go even further, then we need to work in collaboration. So in my call today, I'm going to outline some of the more successful collaborations, including with the Australians. 2 weeks ago, I was a keynote speaker at the inaugural Threatened Species Summit in Melbourne, where I discovered that the Australians have vastly more money to spend on many things than we do. However, what they envy from us is the level of collaboration that we have been able to knit together with partners, philanthropists and business so that we can work as a whole team to overcome our obstacles. As New Zealand has experienced, so too has Australia, that our vulnerable species are prone to being predated upon by mostly eco-invaders. Ironically, here in New Zealand, one of the worst offenders for us is a treasured protected species of possum in Australia. I did offer to ship over a couple of million to solve both our problems, but they refused that kind offer. However, where we were able to collaborate was around the need to have a strategy and to have what we're about to announce, which is a threatened species ambassador. This is an individual who will help us develop a strategy and a series of guidelines for enacting with partners so that we will be able to do the good fight together. Giving a couple of examples that are working successfully at the moment. One of them is Air New Zealand. Air New Zealand is going to part fund this Threatened Species Ambassador's role for the first couple of years. That's building on a successful long-term partnership. It's worth $7 million over the past 3 years with Air New Zealand, and it gives significant gains both for conservation, our New Zealand economy, and also for Air New Zealand. It's a classic win-win, which is why it has not only sustained, but it is also being built on. Air New Zealand, through its in-flight entertainment and advertising, have contributed to the success of DOC's Great Walks. As we know, tourism is now our biggest earner in New Zealand. It's overtaken dairying. By teaming up with Air New Zealand and promoting our walker numbers, for example, they've gone up by more than 30% since the partnership began. So in round figures, that's up from 79,000 overnight stays now to more than over 100,000. DOC has also been working a lot with Genesis Energy. That was a partnership that began 4 years ago. $2.5 million over the past 5 years has been specifically aimed at supporting and protecting the blue duck, our whio, or whio, as it's called in the middle part of the North Island. So what that partnership has meant is that we've been able to double the amount of conservation work. We now have 8 secure sites to maintain a viable population of ducks that breed, and we take out the baby ducklings, the whio, to actually get what we call boot camp for ducklings, which is where they get training in having to swim upstream on some very rapid bits of water so that when they are released to the wild, they are then made fit for purpose in the wild. It's a fantastic thing. So welcoming partnerships with philanthropists is also something that DOC has encouraged in the past couple of years. Next Foundation, for example, is running $100 million of strategic philanthropy over the next 10 years in partnership with DOC and other entities. Next commits something like $5 and up to $15 million a year, and they've ring-fenced 3 major projects. Zero invasive pests, or ZIP as it's known, along with Next, Fonterra, the dairy industry, DOC and the philanthropists. We're all working together, and the target is a big one. To the members of this House who understand these things, to be able to be predator-free and to have that as a measurable target and goal by 2050 is indeed a very ambitious target. And it is only by involving philanthropists and an army of volunteers to help us that we will be able to get there. ZIP is focused, as we are as a government and as a department, on excluding pests from all the parts of the mainland where they've been eradicated. DOC's extremely good and effective and known to be nationwide and internationally in looking after pest-free islands. Our ambitious goal now is to transfer those skills to the mainland. There are many excellent projects which this department and this government is involved in. I'm very proud of them, and we will continue to do our best.